Hello and welcome to our third podcast. This one is going to be focusing on the recap of what Apple announced on Tuesday, as well as some Motorola news. And this is Ben Runo.
Hey, I'm Ryan. I'm drinking a
This is
shake.
Brian, Runo.
What's up?
Hold on, I got to plug in my laptop because it has just the battery's disintegrated.
How long have you had that? Like 6 months?
Well, I've had it actually for like a year and a half, but now the battery only lasts like 3 hours. It only lasted like 6 initially, but laptop batteries, they don't last very long.
My laptop battery lasts, maybe it does only last 3 hours. I'd say, yeah, mine's disintegrated too at my MacBook.
Yeah, it's crap.
That's just battery technology. It just sucks. Everyone sucks at it.
So wonder why anybody doesn't want to throw their phone at the ground after 2 years.
Well, yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense to upgrade because your battery actually is dying.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks, but.
Let's talk about the Apple stuff.
I'd be really okay with just strapping a Tesla to my phone. I mean, that'd be fine.
Tesla.
Or my laptop, whatever.
To replace the battery. But anyway, so Apple had an event. Obviously, everybody knows about it by now, and a ton of stuff got announced. So everybody knows about it. We're not going to spend much time talking about it. I just want to get your guys' opinion, so I came up with a couple of questions. First off, the new iPhones got announced. So there's the 4.7-inch one and the 5.5-inch one. What are really the differences between the two?
When you love someone, you still get mad at them. I love Apple, but I'm extremely mad at them because of what they did. I understand.
Well, first, I want to clear out what's the difference.
Were you watching like a girl movie with your girlfriend like a girly minute ago? What the hell?
Ryan, I totally want to get your overarching opinion, but the first question I wanted to ask was, what's the difference between the 4.7 and the 5.5?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
People don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of confused you, but so I'm going to talk about the differences, and then at the end I'll say why I said my first funny statement. But so the main differences are better screen on the 5.5, bigger screen, obviously, better camera on the 5. In the 6 Plus because of optical image stabilization, better battery, and I believe that is it. And
well, the thing is, I thought there was actually a higher pixel density on the smaller one, because they said something about HD Plus or Retina Plus
it's
or
not.
something.
Backwards, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The big one's 401 and the small one's 326.
Yep. So the small one's worse overall. It's worse than the iPhone. iPhone 5. It's 80% at the iPhone. Right?
No.
80% better?
Well, no, it's got to be better than the iPhone 5.
Every single iPhone since the iPhone 4 has been 326 PPI.
So
yeah, kind of gives you the impression that they were. Oh.
What is the iPhone?
I was gonna say it's just kind of. Go ahead, Ryan. I'm gonna let you talk.
What's the iPhone 6 PPI?
326.
So it's worse than the iPhone 4S.
No, the 4S was
no. The thing is, the
the
iPhone
4 was 326.
Yeah,
the 5 was 326.
You guys both talked at the same time. I didn't get a single word from either of you.
Every single iPhone has the same PPI except for the 6 Plus and the 3GS and older.
Okay, yeah. So that's my gripe still, is like, they didn't even improve the screen on the iPhone 6, they just made it bigger, but they made the 6 Plus a 1080p screen.
Yeah.
There's nothing
and
to
the thing
improve.
is, well, the thing is, we've been saying that for a while, but that's actually not true. Because the thing is, what Apple said initially is 326, what do you call it? Your eye can't distinguish the pixels anymore. But there's still a huge amount of difference there, because the thing is, it's you're telling the difference in quality at that point, and anybody who tells you that there's not a difference between a 720p display and a 1080p display is crazy. Because if you use either for an extended period of time, you know there's a difference. And LG kind of explained it when they launched the G3, is that there's still a lot of difference. You can tell it's like looking at a badly printed book versus looking at a really high quality magazine. There's really a big difference there. And you know, I really don't like the G3, but I actually saw one in person. I was like, oh, the screen is so good, it almost makes me want to use it, but I'm just like, what do you call it? I'm not going to let that completely sway my buying decision.
I love the G3 and the M8 is dumb.
Well,
Oh
you know,
my
we could
god.
talk about that later. We're trying to talk about Apple right now, Brian.
Are you like plastic?
All right.
Brian? I didn't know
All
you
right.
liked plastic so much.
Brian, okay, so those are the differences between the two. Now that we got that out of the way, you know, that explained a lot. What were you going to say before?
You talking about me?
Yeah.
So basically, camera is one of the most important things on your phone, and not everyone likes phablets. Like, let's be honest, I feel like the market's more for 4.7. I'd say there's a large percentage for phablets, but more people are probably going to get the iPhone 6 because of price and because of screen size. And they put a DIS camera, digital image stabilization camera, not an optical, in the iPhone 6 when they could have, and they didn't put it in the iPhone 6 Plus. Personally, I think it's for a selling point. They want to sell the 6 Plus. They're trying to give reasons why people should buy it. I don't really get why they're doing that. I feel like they should have just came up with one product available to everyone at one price with different storage sizes. I just personally don't like. You know, sure, I think the screen. Never mind, I take that back. I think it's cool to do 2 screen sizes, but they should have made them identical. Besides the screen resolution and the battery life. No, just the screen size and battery.
If I can say something real quick, it doesn't make any sense that only the 6 Plus has it because the 6 Plus is actually thinner than the 6.
Yep.
So it makes no sense why they took it out. It's like they took it out because it's going to be cheaper.
No, the 6 Plus is thicker.
No, it's not. I can look it up. I remember.
No, I can look this up.
It is.
I can look this up. It's definitely thinner. The 6 Plus is thinner than the 6.
The 6 Plus is thicker.
Brian, you can keep on going what you're saying while I look this up.
Anyways, the tagline for the 6 Plus should simply be, "We're finally as big as Samsung, and we're not them."
Yeah, he's right. Actually, it is. It's 7.1 millimeters and 6.9. He's right. It's 0.2 millimeters.
Yeah. Wait, so am I right or is Brian right?
Brian was right. The iPhone 6 Plus is actually thicker.
Oh, okay. Well, I was surprised because I thought that, what do you call it? Because I thought that the iPhone 6 Plus was thinner. I'm like, that's weird. But I guess it was backwards.
Yeah, wow. I totally got mixed up there.
Yeah,
it's understandable
right.
You don't like big things.
And that's something that is the thing that I miss the most when I'm using any camera is that, what do you call it, about half of them on the market don't have OIS, and when I do use one that doesn't have OIS, it's so noticeable, and it's like, ugh. Hopefully it's in the next model or something.
I know. I don't know. It's like a small complaint, but I think it's a valid one. Like, I'm not gonna not buy it because of that, or I hate Apple now. But like, I just wish in the future they would kind of maybe try and systemize that. I don't know. I just feel like one product is inferior now in more than just screen size and screen density, because that is a factor by screen size, like 4.7 inches and 5.5.
Have you heard of the 5C?
Well,
yeah, but that's different. That was a marketing plan to get into China, to get their phones into China and other countries. Like,
no, it's an iPhone 5 with plastic. And it cost 18 cents less to make than an iPhone 5.
It had bigger battery and had better front-facing camera.
Yeah, it did.
It actually did more than they should have. Like, what do you call it? They were just going to make it a plastic iPhone 5. Yeah, it was actually an improved product, and it was one that instead of putting out just the iPhone 5 for cheaper, they decided to improve it. And what do you call it? And the thing is, I think they actually thought that people wanted a plastic iPhone, and it seemed to sell pretty well, so I think it's something that people actually did want.
Right.
So I think that was a good thing.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say that Apple is kind of an ass to keep that phone around in an 8 gig version. An 8 gig phone is just 100% useless.
It is useless, yeah.
Did they come out with an 8 gigabyte 5C now?
Probably.
Yep. Yeah, and I like, just if you think to yourself, how am I going to sell apps or cloud storage or have someone even like this phone in a year. How am I going to do that when I'm selling them just a useless pile?
I don't know. I'm glad they got rid of the version.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When they start talking about Apple is actually kind of its own worst enemy now in some cases, because it's like they do have to compete against their own products. So the thing is, tons of people buy iPhones. So it's like, how do you get them to buy the more expensive iPhones? Because what do you call it? Because by just adding, storage and making $100, that's how Apple makes a lot of money. So making the cheapest one something which you're going to have to replace quicker is something that nets them more money, and it kind of hurts the user experience, which kind of sucks. So it's like,
okay, let's get on topic here. We can talk about that all day.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you have to say about the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus?
I think they're great. Everything about them is a great improvement. The fact that the bigger one's going to have a bigger display or a higher density display and a better camera. I think the only reason why people really will want it is it's the biggest, it's the coolest one. I don't really think as a user experience that it's going to be really any better.
It's the Plus. They don't even know what's the difference.
Well, here's the thing. I have a Note 3, and I'm jumping ship and getting a 6 because I'm sick of how stupidly big it is.
Yeah, right.
I love the phone, other than the size. I just can't take it anymore.
That's a perfectly valid opinion. I've heard that from so many people. It's like, oh my gosh. It's just like, oh, I thought this was awesome, but it's just too big. Like, I think of Blake, too. Blake was on the podcast once before. He had a huge phone. It's just too huge. You can't just get an iPad. Like, get 3G connectivity and get Google Voice. Like, oh my goodness.
I think. Oh, sorry, Brian. Did you want to say more about the iPhone 6?
Yeah, I went to the Verizon store today, and this is a side note, but it's indicative of the industry. I asked them if I could buy 6 tomorrow, pre-order it for $750 for a 64 gig, and they told me there was no way that they would sell me the phone without having it activated before I left the store. I just wanted to say that.
That's why we gotta drive to Milwaukee to go to the Apple store, right?
Wow. That's
why anyone puts up with that is just beyond me.
wow.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like you just want to give them copious amounts of money, but the thing is, like, I can see why they do that, because the thing is, like, if you go in there, like, there's no markup. What you're wanting to do is just go in there and buy the phone for the price. So it's like it's just wasting their time, honestly. And it sucks that you can't do that.
For Apple, most of the other phones, there is a markup at that full retail.
Yeah, but not with Apple. Like Verizon and pretty much every carrier, they don't like the iPhone because they have no control over it, and Apple's got full control over it. But that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
It sucks for people. Yeah, it is a good thing.
Okay.
It's just Verizon's kind of at odds. That's why Verizon still pours money into the Droid line, because they still don't want the iPhone to be so popular because they have no control over the iPhone.
And Verizon by far wants to control everything about everything.
Yep, they want to control the internet too now. So yeah.
Like if you have AT&T or T-Mobile, they're like, yeah, bring a GSM phone, come on board, more the merrier. Verizon's like, hold on, we can't validate that IMEI. I don't know if that can work. Well, I'm talking to you on it right now.
Yeah, like
right.
Even Cricket
we don't know if it can work.
Yeah, like even Cricket now. AT&T bought Cricket. Now you can get a decent plan for $30. And you can just get a SIM card and put it in any phone. It's genius. But
yeah,
it's Europe a decade ago.
Yeah, that was Europe a decade ago. So far behind is America, of course.
But what do you call it? So I don't know. So I guess I'll talk about the iPhone 6 now. I think it's a fantastic product. I think what do you call it? I think that well, I guess I'll just talk about them individually. I think that the 6 is a great improvement, and I really think, like, obviously the 6 Plus is better hardware-wise, so it's kind of like hard to say that the 4.7 is better, but I like the form factor better. It seems like it's just going to be a really good phone. The thing is, what as the most interesting things to come out of the event was iOS 8. I think iOS 8 is going to bring a lot to the table that iOS 7 didn't, and it's just going to be much better overall, especially with the being able to activate Siri. Hands-free. Unfortunately, I think that's only while it's plugged in, though, which almost completely defeats the purpose, but I'm still glad they added in. And also, the thing which is going to matter more than the new iPhones, because like we knew the new iPhones were going to be awesome, which they are, but the biggest thing to come out of the event is seriously it's Apple Pay. And the thing is, that's directly related to the iPhone 6.
Yeah.
But it's like
I'll never be able to leave Apple.
Well, it's like, there's been this huge mess on Android. Like, the thing is, you've been able to pay for things with Android forever, but it's just been this huge mess. So now, because nobody uses it, because it's a huge mess, because all these companies are focusing on their own interests and not on the user experience, now Apple's just going to be able to walk in, and all of these power iPhone users are going to be using their iPhones to pay for everything. And then because the Android situation is such a mess, you're just going to have nobody use it on Android, and then people are just going to be like, if I want to pay for things with my phone, I need to get an iPhone.
Yep.
Seriously, it's going to mean that, like, literally there's no market for anything but iPhones in 6 months. And, I could be wrong about that, but it's like, it might get really bad for other players if Google can get their crap together. At least
what they should do? They should NFC on your Apple Watch, so you don't have to take out your phone. You just
I don't know if I told you this, but I just ordered a different phone. It's going to be a replacement for mine. I ordered the Droid
It's not
Max.
Windows, I bet.
No.
Oh.
But what do you call it?
Ben, you can get an iPhone 6. Seriously, I want to see you have an iPhone.
Maybe. I have to figure out which job I'm going to accept before I think about dropping $650 on a phone. I'll seriously consider it, though. It's a great product. What?
Your contract.
I don't have a contract. I go month to month.
And he can never upgrade.
Oh, yeah, because Ben is illegally... he has an illegal account.
So does Brian. But anyway, what do you call it? So yeah, I'm replacing this phone with the Droid Max, and the funny thing is, like, I was thinking about it today. I was like, one of the reasons why I'm definitely going to replace this because it's like, smartwatches are coming out. There's smartwatches on Android. Apple has something planned in a few months. When I'm going to get a smartwatch, like 2017.
Right.
It's like,
and it's going to be terrible.
It's gonna be like, it's the Nokia 360.
It's the LumiaWare.
Later.
Lumia
Watch. 2 years later. It's like, it's like.
At that point, Microsoft will cave and pay Apple a royalty to have Apple Pay on Windows Phone.
Wow. Okay, I think it's a good scam right into the Apple Watch.
Well, what do you call it? I'm not going to... No, hold on, wait. I wasn't quite done talking about the iPhone 6, because I actually... What do you call it? To tell you the truth, I've used 5.5-inch phones before, like the Note 3, and the thing is, I think that the problem can be completely solved if you just have a case that's grippy, because then it doesn't feel unwieldy at all. Like, Brian's got this really great case on his Note that just makes everything on it, so I don't really think the 5.5 is going to be a huge problem for most people. I do think it's kind of funny that that double tap of the home button brings down the screen now.
Yeah.
But
double tap on the screen, right?
No, you have to double tap on the button. It's not clicking.
Multitasking anymore?
No, the thing is...
No, you don't click it, you just double tap it.
Oh.
Like, they're seriously, like, they should have added a second button a while ago, because that home button's doing, like, 15 different things.
I think it's cool. That's how the Mac is. The trackpad does everything on a Mac. Like, I think it's cool. You just learn... You learn how to use it faster, I think.
Wait, an iPhone with 2 buttons? That doesn't seem right to me. I'm not buying it.
But yeah, so I like both the phones. If I was going to get one, I'd lean more toward the iPhone 6 Plus if I was going to spend the extra money. But what do you call it? What I thought was really interesting, which nobody's really been talking about, is that did you see that the data increments for the storage of the phone have gotten a lot better?
That is the best. Well, that's the second best thing that could have happened. I was really hoping it would either be 16, 32, 64 and be $50 increments, or start at 32. I guess the fact that I'm going to pay 100 and get 64 is okay. I mean, it's basically what Apple had to do to keep their stupid increments. Like, they make a fortune on a 64 gig or 128 gig now, but who the fuck ever pays for the biggest model? I worked in wireless for 9 years. No one ever bought a 64 gig version ever. There was 6 people at launch day out of 300 that wanted it, and then no one else ever wanted it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I remember seeing some statistic. They said that 79% of iPads which they sold were the 16 gigabyte model, and it's like, so it makes sense.
Honestly, like, if I were to go buy one right now, I would buy the 16 gig because I don't want to pay the extra $100.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because $100 for 16 gigabytes is so insane.
That's $100.
Yeah, but now you're getting 4 times the storage.
Like, honestly, like when I'm a consumer and I'm like trying to make consumer decisions, I get this same thing. I just can't put as much stuff on it. Well, I want it, so I'll get the same thing $100 less. I just can't put more pictures and all that crap on other apps and.
Yeah,
so it's in Apple's best interest to start you at a 32.
Yeah, they should start you at a 32.
Like, what Android phone comes with 16 and doesn't have external storage option?
Not a single one.
Some Chinese model, probably for $289, and it's 6 inches.
Yeah. Well, what do you call it? So yeah, I thought that was great that now you get 4 times the storage for $100. So now instead of going from 16 to 32, you're going 16 to 64. So it's a big jump, and it really feels like you're getting a lot more value when you actually pay for the larger storage model. Because the thing is, if I get an iPhone, I'm gonna have to get the 64 gig, no matter which one I get, because I fill up 25 gigs on my phone in 6 months. I don't know what I'd go through, and I don't know what I'd do.
I don't know. Honestly, though, I'm gonna be honest. Having 16 gigs makes you be a responsible phone user. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the story. I had 2 years of photos on my phone, and I dropped my phone in the toilet, and I can't get any of the data back because my data.
That's not a problem anymore because all your photos are stored through the cloud. Like, what do you call it?
True, but they only give you 5. Well, I suppose
5 gigs, so it's not even. It's not worth it. You have to pay big bucks to get iCloud. So
now it's $12 a year for 20 gigs. Is it 99 cents a month for 20? I mean, that's palatable, but pathetic.
I think what the better thing to do is, what do you call it? You guys should download OneDrive because you get like 15 or 20 free gigabytes of storage, and you can turn on automatic photo upload, so it automatically uploads all your photos that you take to OneDrive, and then what?
That'll eat your data.
Well, no, it only does it while you're on Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like every night you plug in your phone, it uploads them automatically all to OneDrive, and then what do you call it? So it's like I've got like 3,000 photos on there from the last year I've been using it. So it's like it's great.
Yeah. I think what I was saying before, I think having a 16 gig taught me every 6 months to dump everything on my phone on an external hard drive and keep it safe because.
Keep it secret.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Because like I said, there's more stories than I dropped my phone in the toilet. Like someone stole my phone, I lost everything, or et cetera, et cetera. Like, oh, I accidentally sold my phone, or my SD card went corrupted, and I lost all my. That happened to me. I lost 2 years of photos, and my SD card went corrupt. So
I think there's 2 levels of SD cards that are made, and some are made by shitbag gnomes. And then the other ones are just made by really cheap Chinese workers, and the shitbag gnome ones all fail.
Oh my god.
They're so bad. I had probably 4 SD cards just corrupt or fail.
Yeah. Those are those ones that people get for $5 though, the 64 gigs on eBay.
Yeah.
You get for $5. Yeah. But yeah, so what do you call it? We've been talking about the iPhone 6 for a while. Let's start talking about the watches. So Apple announced smartwatches. They announced 3 models, right? What?
I want it.
So wait, hold on. So they announced 3 watches, right?
Give it to me, Pat. I want it. I want the watch. I'm just kidding.
I'll take
Guys,
the
can we
aluminum
seriously
for
talk
the
about
stainless
this?
steel.
Okay,
It's
seriously.
not.
Wait, no, I have to read this tweet. That's why it was so funny to me. I don't know if I can find it. So this guy was like, Apple, me. He was like, Apple, so we're happy to announce, just give it to me, I'll buy it already. Well, please let me announce, I want it, give it to me, just give it to me, please let me buy it. And like that was the end of his tweet. It was just funny because that's basically how everyone was like, I want it right now. Don't even show me, I want it.
And all it takes is Johnny Ive and you're sold.
Yeah, I know. This is the best thing in the, I want it. I don't care. I want it. It's so funny. It's so true.
You know, I will say this: whenever Johnny Ive gets on one of those like product videos, you're like, I want it. Like,
right.
doesn't even matter. What do you call it? But yeah. So what do you call it? How many Apple Watches were announced? Like, I know that they're releasing.
Three. There's the Apple Watch.
There's
the Apple Sport Watch, and then the Apple Watch Edition.
Yep, and there's two sides of each.
The first one is stainless steel.
What's the first one?
The Sport one is anodized aluminum, and then the Apple Watch Edition is gold.
18 karat meteorized or something, gold and
18 karat gold, and our meteorologists tell us that it's up to 2 times harder than standard gold.
Okay. So are they all running? Are they all the same hardware?
Yeah,
like just different
the only
colors or whatever.
Both model or all 3 models come in 2 sizes.
Yep, a woman's size basically and a guy size. That's my opinion.
Is the software different on any of them?
Nope, all the same. They're going for complete obviously they're going for software, but they're also going like this is going to be an accessory, not just like the Moto X. Like, what girl is going to buy that? You know what I mean? Like, what the?
I'd say a ton because you can completely make it however you want to. That's appealing to everybody.
Wait, isn't it just black?
No, the Moto X you can get with a wood back, you can get with a leather back, you can get with a purple, pink, or blue back.
Sorry, I don't know why I didn't know that. Oh, never mind. But they're definitely going for the fact that like girls can get it with like a leather, like a black, a rose gold. Like I don't see a guy wearing a rose gold watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in Minneapolis and you don't see that?
No. Homosexual Central, for real though, no jokes. It's like a huge hub for homosexuals. Not saying that if you wear rose gold, you're homosexual. I'm making myself a homosexual.
No, but they actually passed up San Francisco for more. I mean, not that it's bad.
Okay.
Guys, talking about the Apple Watch, what do you guys think of the interface? Because, what do you call it? I thought it was unclear. Like, does it normally show a watch face when you're not doing anything with it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, when you lift it up, it shows you.
Yeah, when you lift it up. And is it AMOLED?
Yes, it's OLED printed on a sapphire crystal.
Okay. And then the other thing is, what did you guys think of the interface? Because, like, from what I saw, it looked like this weird, like basically the home screen is like this weird, like, sea of bubbles on black. And it's like, they all look so small.
Yeah.
They all look so small. I'm like, how are you supposed to click any of those?
Well,
you spin the digital crown, and then it makes them bigger.
Yep, you spin the digital crown. I think it's genius. I feel like Apple's or Android is just going to copy them. Like, oh, frick, Apple did it right. We're going to have to make a digital crown in all of our future watches. Game over.
What's the digital crown?
It transfers physical data into electronic data. So when you twist it, it'll zoom in. If you press it in, it's a home button.
On the side, it's the dial that's on a watch.
Yeah, like the little dial that's on watches.
Okay.
Like a little, like here's the watch, and there's
so that's
the metal.
So the watch, so the dial on the side sets how close the view is to the little bubbles.
Yeah, like
yeah.
It's a zoom.
Okay.
Instead of pan and zoom, it's spin and zoom.
Because initially when I saw it, I'm just like, wow, that's going to be a mess. It's a tiny screen already. Having 15 tiles on there or 15 little circles, like, that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But if you can change the size, I guess, it'll probably be easier to get through them.
Yeah, I also think the charging style is super cool. It uses MagSafe technology with the magnetic, and it's inductive charging, which is super cool.
Okay.
Hence MagSafe. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's see. So what did you guys think of the interface? Because, okay, so this is the first time I'm actually hearing about it, so what do you call it? there's no, so the zooming is on the side, and what do you call it? And beyond that, it's just tapping the interface, just like on a smartphone. Or I heard something about hard taps.
Yep, it's got a. It sounds like they made it sound cool, but basically it's a capacitive and a resistive touchscreen. Am I right?
Hmm.
They
I say yes.
Electrons. What the frick does that mean? You just made it a resistive touchscreen. Awesome.
Ryan,
did you watch the video?
I can't hear anyone. It's kind of.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you watch the video?
Yeah, I watched the 10-minute video from Ive, and then I watched the majority of the keynote.
Yeah.
And they had some really nerdy guy come on there and explain how to use the watch, and after that I really didn't want to use it because he was a nerd and it wasn't appealing, but...
Why did they do that?
John Carmack come up there.
If I didn't have such stutters the last 2 weeks. Anyways, they recruited some guy from, like, Movado or something, like, 6 months ago. And I think that was the guy. Like, he's actually like some high fashion nerd. But basically, you click the button on the side to go home. You spin to get it bigger and smaller. They spent 3 years to figure out that I either would want a solar window, a moon window, or Mickey Mouse as the back to my watch. To be honest, I just feel like I have to say this. I think smartwatches are stupid in every facet. Apple made it cool, but everyone's trying to make a market that doesn't exist. There's nowhere to grow.
I think
big screens are done. Higher resolution is done. It's just you can't copy Apple and have their operating system to make it that smooth. So essentially, you're like, let's make watches.
Let Ryan say something, and then I want to say something.
I definitely think it's like I used to say smartphones are luxury items, but now they're so integrated in our world. The smartwatch is such a luxury item, it's disgusting. It's like the epitome of American ignorance of the entire world. Let's spend my money on this when I can do all these other things. But I think it's also really functional. Like, I don't know, I was talking with someone and I was like, I think it would just be awesome if you're on a walk with a friend and someone texts you and your phone's in your pocket and you literally hit the voice and send a voice snippet. Hey, honey, I'll be home in 15 minutes. I just stepped out for a little bit. And, like, you don't have to take out your phone, ignore. It's, like, that fast. And I feel like that would be the #1 reason. Like, voice snippets in iOS 8, I think, is awesome. And I think it's going to be integrated super well. I think a lot of the other stuff, like remote camera, I mean, if you're, like, a businessman and you take videos, I know some companies use their iPhones for, like, videos and stuff. That's kind of cool. But a lot of that stuff I see is unnecessary. The main stuff is communication. Like, you can answer your phone when my phone's in the other room. I don't have to leave the table. I'm with my friends. Hey, what's up? Like,
convergence, or what do they call it?
We're on the 5th floor, 526. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go get your phone in your bag or your coat. It's on your wrist. That's the kind of stuff I can see why you would want it, or like why it would be actually useful. That's about it for me, though.
I see a lot of people buying it, and then in like a year, they're like, "This thing's stupid. I'm just not wearing it anymore."
Yeah,
guys, I'm the complete contrarian here, because the thing is, I am actually fully convinced that smartwatches deserve to exist and that they're worth the money. Because what do you call it? For one, it's really advanced technology. To have it be that small, it makes sense that it costs as much as it does. Like, what do you call it? When you pay $250 for a regular watch now, what you're really just paying for is a name. The technology isn't that much unless you're buying something that's like made out of gold, then you're paying for materials. But what do you call it? The watches, they're totally worth the money where they're charging $250 for them right now. And the thing is, what they are is they basically, the thing is, they say the average person turns on and off their phone over 200 times a day. So what do you call it? What that basically does is that most of the time when you're taking out your phone, you're taking it out, hitting the lock button, then pulling down to check your notifications. And it simply takes out that step of you taking it out of your pocket, unlocking it, and then doing that. Instead, you can just take a look at whatever it is really quickly by just looking at your watch and interact with it how you want to. And then it's really just a great opportunity to be like a remote, or it can check your heart rate. It can do all these really great things to keep track of you. I mean, imagine if in the future, because they can already do this, it'll be able to keep track of your diabetes levels, of your of your blood sugar levels. That's
Right.
something that which they'll be able to do in the future. So there's really a great opportunity there. It's really right now the greatest thing a watch can do is just give me notifications on my wrist and do it well. And
No, if you have high blood pressure.
yeah, they can tell you that right now. But simply if it lasts all day and it gives me notifications, it takes out this huge step of me taking out my phone hundreds of times a day. And instead, I'm just checking my wrist for these notifications. They're really smart, and I really like the Android Wear platform. And I want to learn more about what Apple has to offer because I think that could be something good too. I didn't really like the look of the hardware, but if it's good, it's good.
Yeah, one last thing I want to comment real quick, because there isn't much to say, because honestly, I haven't used it. They demonstrated it, and they showed a lot, but until you really use it is when you really can judge it. But the one thing that I heard about the Moto 360 was that the circle display actually would cut off text because of it would cut off like paragraphs and stuff like that, or text because it's circle. That's why they went with square on the watch, I think. A lot of people were like giving reviews of the Moto 360 and were saying that the circle display was cool, but the only reason they didn't like it was because it cut off content because of the circle.
That is right.
The thing is, yeah, it does cut off text on the Moto 360. The thing is, I think that all Android Wear watches, or if not all of them, most of them are going to be circular going forward. So I think the software is going to be rewritten to compensate for that. I think the reason why Apple made the watch square is because that's just the technology that's available to them now. They know it's going to sell like hotcakes, and they're probably going to come out with a new one in a year.
Yeah.
So I think when the new one comes out in a year, it's going to be circular because the thing is, bubbles circular. It just makes sense. And I think the second generation product is going to be a lot more attractive.
Exactly.
I think they kind of had to make some compromises because they've been working on this thing forever, and they probably had to drop what it looked like 2 years ago. And at that time, the technology just wasn't available.
Yeah, and I think first, I was like, when it first came out, I was like, I want it. I thought about it. I'm like, honestly, when the second gen comes out, it's going to be so much better, look better, hopefully be a better price. Yeah. So I was like,
that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. What do you guys think about the price?
I think it's too high.
Yeah.
I think it's way too high considering the entry point is a $200 phone. I don't really think there's any reason why a 5C or a 5S couldn't do it. It seems really asinine that they're going to cut out. Or wait, maybe I'm wrong. No, everyone of the 5 and newer can use it. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, the price is so high. Hi, I want a 64 gig iPhone 6 Plus and the watch. Can I spend $800 today, please?
Yeah, it might have something to do with the currency going down in value, but it's like, geez, like $350.
Well, you could buckle that with a MacBook Pro. It will only be $2,000 today, and if you're a student, we'll save you $35 and give you a $100 iTunes gift card.
Yeah. The thing is, I really want to get the Moto 360. I've heard a lot of good things about it. That at $250 is a really tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I spend money on technology like it's water sometimes. So like the average consumer, I don't know, I honestly don't know how they're going to convince the average person to pay $350 for the iWatch. I mean, it's an Apple product, so it's like you assume it's going to sell well, but it's like, I don't know, the average person gets the free iPhone. I don't know how they're going to sell 6 million of these in a weekend, to people who, I don't know if people are just going to throw $350 down. I mean, hopefully there's some more information that comes out that's going to be hey, you can do this with it, and there are all these developers working on these apps, and they start showing off the things you can do.
Well, you see, if you look at the Samsung watches, go on eBay or Amazon or anywhere, people offload them for next to nothing because they buy it and they're like, this is really just a toy.
Yeah, seriously, I might just buy an offhand Apple Watch on Craigslist for like $150, like 6 months in.
You
Like,
can't though. Apple devices have insane resale value. They're not gonna get down to that price.
Oh yeah.
But they haven't seen resale value when it's a product people want. When it's an Apple Watch, you're gonna have all these people buy it and be like, "Well, that was really neat for a month, and now I don't want to charge two things every night. This is annoying."
Yeah, that is kind of.
That's it could be a total flop, but the thing is, just like even when Apple products are a flop, like they're
And you were lagging.
you still like I was gonna say, like I think it was a year ago, but I sold an iPod Classic for $50, and it was a 7-year-old product. And the thing is, I was looking at getting that Apple G4 Cube, which anybody would look at and say it was a failure because they discontinued it after a year, and pretty much nobody bought it. And the thing is, you still have to pay like $200 or $150 or $200 for a G4 Cube, which is a computer that came out in 2001. Because it's an Apple product.
They're collectibles and novelties now, not because they're actually worth money.
No, nobody likes it. Like, it's not even a collectible. I was talking about doing a Hackintosh project with it.
Rare. I don't know. I feel like the iPod Classic still has value because of its rarity, and it's like a novelty, collectible kind of thing a little bit.
Well, part of it is also
the iPod
the
Classic
big hard drive.
What was that?
No, I sold the 30 gig model, the one that everybody had.
Part of it is
I was
because
talking about
a big hard drive for just music.
Wait, no, it was the iPod Video. That was the one I had. The one with the silver back. That was the one that everybody had. And I was like, cripes, I got $50 for it, and it's like.
The reason why you got 50 also is because Apple products don't hit zero, even when they're broken.
Well, the thing is, I remember looking at it last year though, and the thing is, the screen was still really high quality. The thing is, I was looking at the screen, I'm like, this is good, and it's 7 years old. It's like it was totally worth the money, and if you'd paid $300 or whatever the iPod Video was, it's like that was totally worth the money. It's a great product. I'd say the same thing with the iPhone 4. I mean, I just got rid of my iPhone 4. I got $50 for it on eBay, and I was like, if you bought this in 2010, you were so well cared for, because for 4 years, close to 5, okay, well, no, it was exactly 4. What do you call it? You have all of the latest software, all of the latest security updates, and you're completely covered for 4 years. And it's the same with every iPhone you get.
Meanwhile, I have a Samsung Captivate, and I threw it out.
Look at any phone from 2010, and the software support is still not going on, and it's probably trash. Like, the Hero came out 6 months before the iPhone 4, or maybe slightly longer, but the thing is trash now, and I have one. It's like, yikes.
It was trash 3 years ago.
Exactly. Ryan, you're not saying much. What's on your mind?
Nothing much. I'm just listening.
All right. Okay, so there is 2 more things we can talk about. I guess we'll talk about the Microsoft one first, because the Microsoft one's a little less interesting.
I'm just a little bit worried about time, so we're going to have to wrap this up because this is going on for about 50 minutes for the viewers here.
Well, I don't actually have a time here, but what do you call it? I guess we should probably end on. Let's see if I have one more question.
Yeah, we had a good course, but we definitely branched out on different conversations.
Yeah, we mostly just talked about the Apple event this time, and I guess we'll cover the other stuff next time.
Yeah, we can just.
I think we should end on this note. Who is actually planning on probably buying the new iPhone very quickly after?
Not me, because I don't have an upgrade.
Mm-hmm. And probably not me, because I probably won't have a good enough job to just throw that money around.
Right. If I had an upgrade, I would just sell my iPhone 5S, which that's why I have to wait another year, and I'd probably make $350 on selling an iPhone 5S, and then I would just spend $200 and make $150. because my parents, I'm in college, my parents are paying for my contract, but I'm not going to renew my contract because I'm getting married soon, so
Yeah.
I'm probably just going to hold out till the iPhone 7. I don't really want to, I'm kind of stuck on the S train, iPhone 5S, iPhone 4S. I kind of want to get on the new bandwagon where I get the new phone when it comes out, not the S version. So I might just hold out for 2 more years here and then get the iPhone 7.
Well, the nice thing is the S usually gets the better camera anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, before we wrap up, was anyone surprised that the iPhones both had 8 megapixels again?
I was like, are you kidding me?
Same camera from the 4S, just tweaked, you know.
They gave something about like they put in like 20% more light now, so like they basically did nothing. Like they did a little bit.
Dumb. I don't know how they're doing.
But yeah, Ryan, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, did anyone else notice that the whole hype about the sapphire displays? Do you notice he never announced the iPhone 6 Plus or iPhone?
Yeah, I watched the entire keynote, and I'm like, where is the mentioning of this?
They don't have it. They don't have sapphire displays. I was like trying to figure out what's going on. I'm thinking they're gonna save that for the iPhone for the 6S. That's what they're gonna do. They're not gonna come out with it on that one. Because everyone was saying, "Oh my gosh, look at its sapphire display." But
they ionized it, which made it better. But basically, I think they watched Kyocera announce that sapphire phone, and they're like, "Congrats! Good thing you thought we were coming out with this, so you wasted time and money doing it."
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the podcast for this week. Hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about wearable devices and the Apple event, and we'll be more to talk about. We'll be here with more to talk about next week, and that was it. Thanks everyone for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.